Coming up tonight, something that hasn't been done since the 1990s, Singapore to fund a major public project through borrowing.
After a day of football bombshells, here's another one. Jose Mourinho has been sacked by Tottenham after just 17 months.
And this gets our vote for video of the day. A family of otters spotted going about their business in Marina Bay. This is the Straits Times Newsnight. I'm Dylan Ang.
Good evening, I'm Chao Suen. A network of tunnel sewers to treat wastewater will be one of the nationally significant infrastructure projects that the government intends to pay for through borrowing, something that has not been done since the 1990s.
The $10 billion deep tunnel sewerage system, scheduled for completion by 2025, will be financed through the proposed Significant Infrastructure Government Loan Act, or SINGA, introduced earlier this month. The 100-kilometre-long system will convey used water entirely by gravity to 3 centralised treatment plants, where water is purified to produce new water. Second Minister for Finance Indrani Raja said during a site visit today that this project will benefit many generations of Singaporeans.
What is happening now is that our needs have grown. The infrastructure is much more complex today than it was before. There are financial pressures and constraints. We have an aging population. So we have to think about how we're going to finance nationally significant infrastructure. This visit today to the deep tunnel sewage system is an example of how Singapore builds long term. The DTSS can actually last us for the next 100 years. So effectively, we're building in this generation for the next generation and the generation after that.
Other news tonight, the Ministry of Manpower will carry out 400 worksite safety inspections targeting high-risk sectors, including construction and manufacturing.
These inspections will take place from May to June and will be on top of routine checks. Senior Minister of State for Manpower Zaki Mohamad said that MOM is paying closer attention to the manufacturing sector after 6 fatalities last year compared with 4 in 2019. Last year also saw the highest number of non-fatal injuries, 110 cases of major injuries and more than 2,300 cases of minor ones.
And the Central Narcotics Bureau has seized record amounts of cannabis and heroin, their largest since 1996 and 2001. Estimated to be worth more than $2.3 million, the haul, which also included other drugs, comprised more than 40 kilos, enough to feed the addiction of more than 12,400 drug abusers for a week. Most of it was found last Friday in the Choa Chu Kang home of a 22-year-old Malaysian man.
Flights from India, Pakistan and the Philippines will be barred from entering Hong Kong starting tomorrow for 2 weeks, after a mutant strain of COVID-19 was detected there for the first time. Hong Kong has classified the 3 nations as extremely high risk after multiple imported cases carrying the strain were found in the last 2 weeks.
A special moment for families split by the pandemic who reunited thanks to the opening of the Australia-New Zealand travel bubble, which allows quarantine-free travel for the first time in almost 400 days. Both countries had largely closed their borders more than a year ago to keep their COVID-19 cases low.
And on to Singapore's COVID-19 situation. 1 community case was reported among the 20 new infections today. It is the 4th consecutive day that new cases have been reported in the community. The remaining 19 were imported. Now, football has been known to bring people together, but in a move that has ripped through the industry and drawn much anger, 12 European football clubs have launched a breakaway Super League, launching what is certain to be a bitter battle for control of the game and its lucrative revenue.
Big-name clubs including AC Milan, Arsenal, Chelsea, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Real Madrid and Tottenham Hotspur have signed on as founding members. The project is being launched to rival UEFA's Champions League and has drawn widespread backlash from football's global and European governing bodies FIFA and UEFA, fans and other clubs alike. UEFA has also said it would ban any club involved in the breakaway from playing in its domestic league. And the condemnation doesn't stop there. UK and France's Prime Ministers Boris Johnson and Emmanuel Macron both also condemned the move.
And in another shocking move, Jose Mourinho has been sacked as the head coach of Tottenham, less than a week before Sunday's Carabao Cup final against Manchester City. Spurs described Mourinho's 17 months in charge as some of the most challenging times at a club. He leaves Spurs 7th in the Premier League table. The club announced that Ryan Mason will take over first-team training today.
Let's take a look at what's been trending on social media today. Now, many of us would love some time to lounge and relax over the weekend, and it seems that we're not alone with a group of lounging otters spotted over the weekend. The otters were seen basking in the sun for about 10 minutes at the float at Marina Bay, a familiar location for those of us who had our basic military training passing out parade there. Now, it gets better. According to eyewitnesses, the otters were also seen answering the call of nature, pooping on the grass before later disappearing back into the water. Still adorable, I guess, not a sight you often see.
Now, MediaCorp's annual Star Awards returned with a spectacular show last night, with Changi Airport's Terminal 4 providing a stunning backdrop for actress Zoe Tay.
The glitzy affair returning to our screens after it was cancelled last year. And were there any shocks and surprises? You bet. Fan favourite Felicia Chin went home empty-handed after missing out on her 10th Top 10 Most Popular Female Artist Award, which would have made her an all-time favourite artiste. In a career spanning 18 years, she's still waiting for her first acting award. Better luck next time. Now, a huge disappointment too for hot favourite Chantel Ng, who didn't make the top 10 most popular list. Fans had high hopes for her after the popularity of the Channel 8 drama My Star Bride. Tough luck, Chantel, maybe next year.
And speaking of reaching for the stars, as the journey to place humans back on the moon continues, NASA has announced who it has selected to continue development of the first commercial human lander.
NASA has decided on Elon Musk's SpaceX, which beat out competitors, including Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, to win the coveted contract worth $2.89 billion. This lander is slated to carry the next 2 American astronauts to the lunar surface. At least one of those astronauts will make history as the first woman on the moon.
And speaking of new milestones, NASA has just successfully completed the first ever aircraft flight on Mars. The Mars helicopter making history today by being the first craft to achieve controlled, powered flight on a planet beyond Earth. The 1.8-kilogram helicopter ascended to an altitude of 3 meters above the Martian surface, hovered for 30 seconds, then rotated before descending to a gentle landing on all 4 legs.
Time for some inspiration. 100 kilometers by bike. Yes, you heard that right. Chloe Tan is planning to clock that distance in a virtual race. Now, just one thing though, she's only 6 years old. Now, Chloe is the youngest participant at this year's OCBC cycle and will be riding alongside her parents and 2-year-old brother, who will be strapped to the back seat of her dad's bike. The Tans are just one of the many families who will be participating in the virtual categories available to the public, ranging from a 5-kilometer kids ride to a 200-kilometer one. So awesome! So great to see that young picking up a sport that encourages them to go outside. All the best to Chloe and everyone else who is taking part as well.
And that wraps up the Straits Times Newsnight. Do visit straitstimes.com to see more news and videos.
You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the button below. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.